So 1090 Jake says Young Thug didn't tell at the end of the day. He told too much, which with everything I guess put in context, I don't know. What does everyone think, man? I guess nothing was directly used in court, but you never know if something that he said led them to using a strategy in a different way with something else to, make something else happen. And when I'm saying all that, I'm not saying like I'm like wanted to be that way or whatever. It just never made sense to me that Thugger being who he is and the cloth that he's supposed to be cut by would even be sitting in there with law enforcement like that. It's a proffer session or whatever the case may be. I don't know, man. Like you see 6ix9ine and Flux 6ix9ine. I don't rock with his old goofy ass at all. But he told him, like, why didn't you just call Brian Steele? And I don't understand why he did. Was he trying to proffer it out with him and see if he could bust some kind of deal, and they just couldn't come to some kind of agreement? I don't know. Jump in the comments and let me know what you think about it all. But what was really wild about this whole situation to me was the uncovering of how everything was re-released in a strategic way, with 1090 Jake saying that Ceddy Nash was the ultimate culprit behind it all, man. And this ain't the first thing that things like that have happened, man, where certain events just plays out in a certain way in almost different phases. Like with Thugger, the piece coming back out was phase 1, the phone calls was phase 2. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen that ish happen at other times. Something I always point back to, it's not the exact same situation, but there was a point in time when Whack 100 was running a fake Pac Mike Tyson narrative, and he went as far to have someone do like a look-alike fake video and distributed it out to bloggers. You know what I'm saying? Like it was hard to track it all down, but when I did track the exact post in which I was speaking of down to the first person that ever posted it, they flat out said, yo, Whack 100 sent us this one. And I don't know, I want to know if y'all think that Whack had any hand in this with Ceddy Nash. Tap in on that. As you know, you've seen how it was being used in a way for a lot of people that have the snitch jacket on them, like Woody, who we saw Ceddy Nash running around BFFs with, taking him to the 60s, getting forced to apologize for that, and seemingly in some hot water. And that's something else I want to get to about Ceddy Nash. Like this could be really bad for him, but also Charleston White, Gunna, Rallo. It was like there was the whole part of this where 1090 Jake was talking about how it was used to soften the blow for a lot of these individuals that got that snitch jacket on them, trying to get at Young Thug, and they all took their shots at him. And ultimately, we know Whack's main interest in doing this would have been QCP. And that doesn't shock me at all one bit by any means, as that is Whack's right-hand man. Just like the same way there could never be anything bad about Birdman. Anything that Birdman wants or any narrative or line he wants to push, Whack's going to be right there with him because he's his big ticket into the industry. You know what I'm saying? He's just like that with P as well. And, we know Whack 100 obviously continues to say the streets are dead, the streets is a myth, and I don't really give two fucks about that ish. I'm no tough guy, I'm no G, I'm just someone sitting back watching all the content play out. But it's just wild the way Whack 100 will manipulate that whole conversation based on if he wants to act tough or not, or if he's trying to front like he's a super G, then things will shift a different way. And you know what I mean? I don't know, man. And then he always throws that the truth can never be considered disrespect, which I always say is more like whatever he manipulates to being the truth could never be disrespect. But what I wanted to get back to about Ceddy Nash is, I'm not wishing this on this man. I'm not saying that's what this is, but I'm just wondering if this dude could really be in some serious hot water, right? We seen him have an issue in the 60s, like we were talking about with Woody going out there. We seen the Hernandez Govan dude going in on him, and now we know with this situation it was done in such a low-key, behind-the-scenes smear campaign kind of way. Whether you believe Young Thug is a snitch or not, as everyone's pointed out, you know, even before Jake doing this video, we all knew that this had came out before, and it came and went until it came out in this manner. And it's real crazy the fact that he didn't want any revenue for it. And I want to know if y'all think that it is just strictly him, or is there someone even above him who was maybe instructing him to do this, or who he collaborated with, like we mentioned, a Whack 100 quite possibly, or someone else. But to me, it just seems like he continues to get himself in hot water, and you know, I don't know, in ways that could be a bit tricky, especially with this YSL thing. Let's not forget a lot of the allegations and things that jumped off over the years, and I don't know, there's all this inner turmoil and beef and behind the scenes things going down. It just seems like it could get tricky for him. Again, I don't want to see nothing happen to the man. I'm just saying that things continually stack up like real possible beefs for him, and this ain't the only situation I'm talking about. And then you got to look at the fact that when it comes to this internet-ish, not talking beef, just talking narratives and momentum and the way things look, Ceddy Nash been looking real bad, you know, with them fake crisis actor comments where he was named crisis actor cuz and all that. It'd be intriguing to see what happens with this situation now that this 1090 Jake video is out there. Like, will things continue to trend in a downward way for Ceddy Nash, to where people stop fucking with him, and any push or momentum that he has comes to a point that almost ceases to exist? You know what I mean? There's so many angles to look at this from, and so much going on, so many moving parts. Pause. So jump in the comments, share your thoughts, sub up to the channel. I'll get with y'all on the next one. Peace.